Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today I'm just doing NWOpening number 61 and it is the Series 100 Stunning Steve Austin action figure. Now it is very hot in the UK right now, far too hot to finally be turning my lamps on and actually filming a video, but we've got to do these things when we can, otherwise it just keeps getting away from us. We still have 120 odd NWOpenings to do, so we got to get them done. So this is the only figure that I actually picked up from Series 100, which is a bit of a shame because I actually think it was a pretty good series. Obviously the Andre the Giant was pretty interesting for the title belt, but I wasn't particularly interested in like having a suited Andre. The Rey Mysterio I found weirdly enticing as someone who's not the biggest fan of Rey in the world, and I don't think it's the most interesting look for him either. It could just be a subliminal bit of the, title belt tempting me. The Rock, I definitely would have picked up if I hadn't picked up a loose Rock to use in my Fed. That being said, if they hadn't seemed to sell out, I would have probably picked one up reduced, but didn't seem to be the case. Becky Lynch is a bit of a non-starter for me. That John Cena was really nice again. I probably would have picked it up reduced, but I have no immediate plans to use Cena in my Fed. But that is exactly the kind of Cena I would probably want, not that I've ever really thought about it. And then obviously we've got the Stunning Steve Austin as well. I feel like Series 100 was a little bit controversial. People thought it was going to be a bit bigger than it was. For me personally, I think it's a lot more interesting than Basic 100 was. And ultimately, it's pretty interesting. It's a nice gimmick just having different belts and stuff. Because, what else are they going to do? They're going to do a Steve Austin, a Shawn Michaels, a Seth Rollins, all of the guys they do 500 times. And then everyone will say, wow, that's pretty generic. But they're the main guys, they're the big sellers. So I think that doing this and doing like first time in a line title belt is a really good idea. Now, the packaging I'm not a massive fan of. Now, I do kind of like the little silver in the corner, but then there's so little of it and it's so kind of like, it's just foil. It's just that kind of like greasy foil. It kind of looks a bit cheap, but I guess it's a little bit more interesting than just having it like, being generic packaging for Series 100. I also quite like the cartoon of Stunning Steve on the front and side rather than a real picture of him. And on the back here, it actually credits the artist, art by Jonathan Bartlett, so that's a really nice touch from Mattel. I did actually plan on unboxing this figure for an NWA 75 special and giving some spiel about opening a figure from when NWA used to be good. But I didn't really get around to it, and as I say, it didn't really seem like NWA 75 really needed me to go out of my way to provide a special for it. It didn't really deserve one, it was just an excuse to get this guy open, really. So, yeah, I didn't bother, that didn't happen. But yeah, there's not really much point in leaving him in there because it's the title belt that we want. And I guess from there, we'll just get into it. If you haven't seen the mail opening already, this was going to sell out in my Smiths when they got reduced to 15, and I bought a 10-pack of Hot Wheels just for the sake of getting it delivered, like with free delivery, which was, kind of ironic. Save money on the figure and then buy some Hot Wheels so that we don't lose money on the shipping and so on. Because there was like 2 left in my store, and I just didn't want them to go off home delivery. As it turned out, I needn't worried. They are now down to $12.99 everywhere, including Amazon. And, there are plenty of them still going. So I really didn't need to rush. I really didn't need to spend £10 on Hot Wheels, but it is what it is, I obviously had some motivation behind me. Now, this is an interesting backing card, obviously stylized on the trunks that Steve is wearing. I guess that's pretty unique, actually. If you're going to use one of these pieces of card, one of these backing cards as like an interview set or something, this is a pretty unique one. Well, that's going to give you a bit of a unique feel in your Fed. And I'm just going to snap the band off the back, as I always forget to do. And then we will very carefully ease him out of this bubble. Okay, could have eased this out better, but I guess this is the road we're taking now. Oh, the robe goes through the back of the box. Oh, that's just annoying. Hope it doesn't catch on any of these. Oh, it's actually taped in on both sides as well. Yeah, just in case that robe just mysteriously falls out of the packet for you know, just needs to be sealed in place and pulled through the back of the plastic. I sure hope it doesn't get caught on any of these rigid edges on this rigid, ripped up, cut up plastic. It looks like it got away with it. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with the Johnny Knoxville when I unboxed that. I'm just going to spare hands out as well. Oh, it is warm. No more attempts at doing the drop-in. This is taking too long. There we go. We've got to figure out the box. Now, is it just me? Or does the head mold not actually really resemble Steve all that much? I mean, it does more so than it perhaps did in my head. I just don't think it particularly captures his essence. You know, Steve Austin's face must have been scanned by Mattel like 100 million times. Anyway, so, yeah, we've got our Series 100 Stunning Steve Austin figure. So let's just get a little zoom in on that head. I must be honest, Stunning Steve, you know, I am a massive Steve Austin fan, but it's not really a huge thing for me. Like, I'm not really particularly versed on that era of WCW, or indeed any era of WCW, to be honest. You know, I've seen some of it, I've not seen all of it. But yeah, there's the head mold in there. We have, of course, got the NWA television title, which is really, really nice. You know, I was using a kind of knockoff one that I think was actually supposed to be a knockoff of the classic WWF title Hulk Hogan used to have, which is this. This was the one I was going to use. It's still a really nice belt, this, because there's just no details on it or anything, so it can be anything. But yeah, we got this now, so we don't need that anymore. Underneath, of course, we've got those colourful, Stunning Steve trunks, and then we go around to the back. We've got the ponytail hanging down there, the SS... Whew. It's not a great logo to have on the back of your long robe, is it? The SS logo, some stars on the elbows there, and now we'll just we'll get this off. And it's interesting that the robe on this, the what you call it, the drawstring has actually been sewn in, unlike kind of earlier things like Ken Shamrock, for example. I know his drawstring just disappears, as does every real person's in the real world. You know, you immediately lose that thing. So that's a really nice touch, to be fair. Peel this robe off him, and there we go. I mean, to be honest, like I say, I'm not hugely familiar with this kind of era of WCW, and I've only seen this figure from the front, and I've only obviously seen Steve Austin in pictures and stuff during this era. So seeing him with a long ponytail is just very, very fascinating. Let's get a closer look at that NWA TV title. So there we go. We've got the silver plate, red strap, very nice. It says Television Heavyweight Wrestling Champion on it. The side plates are just blank. I'm gonna assume that's maybe due to legalities or something, rather than, you know, being lazy, but it also definitely could be lazy. We are continuing with the curse of the Mattel shoulders, in that both of these shoulders, without even getting into the joint check, I can already tell that both of them are too stiff. Neither of them goes down. And do they go up? No. Neither of them goes up. So that's good. That's really good. Double stiff shoulder. Guess we'll, and the head is quite loose, but I don't think that's going to matter all that much, but we'll get into that in a sec. Bicep swivel's fine. Elbows, maybe more on the loose side, but it's not terrible. And then the wrist is fine for the time being. God, it's like force of habit to push that down. Like, that's just terrible. That bicep and elbow are quite loose, and that wrist is not great either, plus interchangeable hands equals wear over time. Torso, I had bad hopes there considering how badly this has gone so far, but that's okay. You know, it's probably more on the loose side than a stiff side, but it can hold its shape, and the waist is nice and tight, which is good. We've got the leg forward, knee is fine, and the boot cut is fine, and the toe doesn't move. And same again. The legs seem to be fine. It's just the damage, the poor quality joints are confined to the top half of the figure, so that's okay. You know, We need those good legs for it to stand up. Now, overall, I think this is a very interesting figure. It's not one I would have expected to ever see. I wouldn't have expected us to actually get an NWA TV title, so that's really nice. It's a really nice touch. The robe, we haven't actually seen a sort of off-the-body look on, a sort of on-the-rack look for it, so I'll try and show you guys that, but the sleeves do not want to fold out here. So there we go, so there's the SS on the back. It's kind of hard to show. SS on the back and the stars on the shoulders. Pretty nice. And then, of course, we also have the open interchangeable hands, which is cool. So, all in all, for a figure review, this is just still such an unlikely figure. Still something that I can't really believe exists. But it's really nice, you know. This is a really good set of trunks. And if you're like me and you just want the belt and you don't really have need for the figure, I mean, it's a pretty good generic body, to be honest. There's no tattoos or anything on it. It's nice and clean, double jointed elbows, and reducing in price all the time as well. So, you know, that's really, really cool. And what I like to do to end my figure unboxings is to talk about what this guy's going to be doing in my figure fed. Well, to put it simply, he is going to be the DSW champion as Stone Cold Steve Austin. I have no use for this figure in my figure fed, and what I am most likely going to do is either make him a custom character, as I've just mentioned, or, also quite possible, I'm going to do the thing that a lot of people have been doing, and make him into an Okada. Like, the body proportions are pretty good for Okada, and this definitely looks like something he would wear. Now, I could have sworn, of the very few Okada matches I've seen, that he wore something quite similar to this, and I thought, that looks like those stunning Steve trunks. I could have sworn that happened, but people who have done more research, I mean, maybe the resemblance just wasn't as strong as I might have expected, but people who've done more research into it than me say that there isn't anything exactly like this that Okada has worn, or very similar to this rather, but that it does look like something he would wear, and of course the body proportions are pretty good. So that is probably what we are going to do, and that brings us to the end of this NW opening. So if you've enjoyed this, please do check out the NW opening playlist in the end screen. Like, comment, and subscribe, let me know what you think, and if you're going to be picking this one up, or if you have already. Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.